Welcome to the Careers by Jenn podcast, episode 297. Today on the podcast, Jenn discusses job search tips if you're over 50. Tip number 1, lie.
Hey, I'm Jenn Swanson, and Careers by Jenn is where I help you to get the job, love your work, and advance your career, and I talk about wellness and success topics too. This podcast is actually ending production after episode 300. However, you can find me over at Careers by Jenn on YouTube, where I will be continuing to share career tips, advice, wellness, and success topics, and much, much more. It's been a 10-year run here on Careers by Jenn on the podcast, and until we are at episode 300, I invite you to continue listening. Go back and listen to the archives, and please enjoy this show. Thank you so much for being here. Over 50 and looking for a job or wanting to explore the idea of a career change? Well, this episode is for you. The Careers by Jenn podcast is recorded on the unceded and traditional territory of the Coast Salish people, including the Katzie, the Kwantlen, the Stolo, and the Coquitlam First Nations. Welcome if this is your first time. I'm delighted that you are here. If you've been listening for a while, well then welcome back. I am Jenn, I am in my 50s, and this topic jumped out at me recently, and some of my coaching clients fit into this age category. Not all of them, but some of them. And so I thought perhaps doing a show specifically for those of a certain age who are looking for work for the first time, or for the first time in a long time, or once again, or maybe even just considering changing jobs. These are the people that I'm doing this show for. What are some of the additional things, if you are in this age category, that you might want to consider when job searching, along with all the other usual stuff that I have in the podcast and on the Careers by Jenn YouTube channel. I've got tons of stuff on job search and resume prep and interview prep. But along with all of those things, today I have 9 tips for you that are specifically to help you if you are in your 50s or older. And some of you have heard some of these things before, so they'll just be reminders, and others might be new. And in any case, I invite you to grab your cup of tea or whatever, a notebook, and let's jump in. The first thing I want to share with you is to network. And also in that networking, don't just do it in a fleeting way. Make sure that you are cultivating friendships and having deeper conversations. So many job opportunities happen because of who you know, and not just who you know very superficially, but people that you know fairly well. So if you are able to be upfront about looking for work, and I know that you maybe can't be as open and upfront as you would like if you are in a job right now and don't want the employer that you are working for to know that you're looking for a job. But if you are able to, I wouldn't go posting that on social media or anything, but if you are able to be upfront about looking for work, then tell people that you know, that you have any kind of a relationship with at all, who might know someone. Talk about what you're looking for. Talk about what you're not looking for. Email people and intentionally set up conversations, phone calls, networking conversations with people. You can set up short virtual coffee conversations with people that you don't know as well, but who maybe work in the area that you want to work in, and see what might arise. And these are very, very effective. And you can do these if you plan them. And I have at least one, I think maybe two previous podcasts on how to set up these conversations with people so that you can listen and learn and maybe be in their minds when something does come up in the future. So use your networks, think broadly, and think also about who are in the community groups that you are part of that might know of work. Maybe your church, your curling club, your book club, your synagogue, your neighbors, your mosque, your volunteer places that you go, the circles that you move in, the parents of friends of your kids, right? Just think about all the people in the various circles of your life and think about who in those circles you might want to talk to. Make a list, actually, is a really good idea, and then systematically go through that list and set up conversations. And again, with Zoom these days and Skype and the phone, you don't have to do this in person. You can do it over the interwebs because many jobs are gotten through this method, through talking to someone that you know or someone who knows someone that you know. So that was a long answer for number one. Okay, second tip is to upgrade your skills. Now, you can do this from home usually, and adding some key skills to your resume and to your toolbox of abilities can only be a good thing. Some of the skills that you might want to upgrade aren't even formal classes, and you can use the quote-unquote tongue-in-cheek University of YouTube, where you can learn almost everything to help you do this. Do you need to get better at Zoom? Can you watch a bunch of tutorials on how to get better at Zoom, how to make breakout rooms, how to share a screen, how to do some of the things that maybe you haven't had a chance to try yet? Do you need to get better at any kind of technological application? Because if you do, check out the internet to see where you might take a class. And again, YouTube has lots and lots of free content. There are also great classes on places like Skillshare and these course aggregate places where you can find all sorts of classes that people have created for you to teach you how to do X, whatever X happens to be. So check out the internet. Are you needing to upgrade your soft skills? Maybe you need to take a class on listening better, or there's actually a podcast. There's actually a couple of podcasts on that topic in this big library of podcasts that I've created here over the past 10 years. But maybe there are certain things that you need to upgrade in your soft skills that might be helpful to work on. Read a book. There are lots and lots of fantastic books out there on how to do things and how to improve on things that maybe you want to upgrade or improve on. So maybe there's actual certification that you need. Maybe you need a first aid ticket, or maybe you need your food safe certification or what have you. So there may be things that you need to go and learn, and you would be able to do that. You might have to figure out how to do that during COVID times, but maybe there is a way to do some of these things. So make a list and figure out, what do you want to upgrade and what do you want to do first, and how might you go about doing that? And then take action, because current training and updated skills look fantastic on a resume. And these days, so much is available to you on the computer that there is almost nothing that you can't learn from home. And then there are things that you might have to go out to learn. But the best way to do it and to get those things onto your resume is to take action today. So that's number 2. The third tip that I have for you is to turn age into an asset. Highlight your experience. Resumes are no longer chronological laundry lists of first you did this in this date in this year, and then you did this in this year, and then you did this in this year. Boring. No, nobody does resumes, or they should not do resumes that way anymore. The modern resume talks more about achievements, about skills, about accomplishments, about experience, and about measurable results. And so it's not necessarily chronological. You are likely to have many skills and many things that you can focus on and highlight and bring to the front that will be an asset to the role you are applying for. So this is where you really have to look at that job description and see what it is they're looking for, and then look back through some of your old resumes and say, ooh, in that job, I had to lead a team. I was a manager. In this job over here, I was a manager. Well, instead of listing all those things separately, you can list them as management experience in two, whatever level companies they were, and list out some of the things that you did in those managerial roles, but they don't have to be labeled and listed one after the other, all the way back to who knows when. So you want to accentuate and highlight your experience, but not necessarily make it as obvious that some of this experience is 30 years old, for example. The fourth thing, and this kind of follows on this third thing, is to make your resume ageless and limit the length of it. So skip most of the dates as to when you took this course or did that work or did this, thing. You will have to put in, if you have a degree, a university degree, or you might have to put in the date that you graduated, that kind of thing. But again, you don't need to go through and list all of the dates on your resume as to when you did this work or that work. Leave out anything older than 15 years unless it's really relevant to the work that you want to be doing now. So basically what I'm saying to you is curate your resume. You can include words such as select work experience when listing your work experience, or select education and training when you're listing your education and training. Select volunteer experiences, for example, selected skills. So curate your resume, which will keep it shorter, and your experience, and that will make it look a lot more interesting and will not be like this so obvious that you've been working for all these years. So that's what I mean when I say make your resume ageless, and also keep it to 2 pages at the most, if you can. The fifth thing to do is to make the most of your interviews. Now, I said in a very recent YouTube video, if you're listening to this in real time, I did a little short video on how much to say in an interview. And one of the things I said in there was that interviews are highly constructed situations in which there is no way a person is able to get a complete picture of who you are in all your complexity, in all your gifts and skills, in the amount of time that an interview happens. It's a glimpse. It's a window into who you are and what you are bringing to the table. And the resume actually begins that little glimpse, right? The resume is a particular kind of document that covers a particular kind of information. Then you have a cover letter that has different information than the resume does, presumably, hopefully, ideally. And the cover letter expands the resume a little bit more. That's the purpose of it. The interview is where you can let your personality come out. You can tell a story or two as long as it's relevant. You can make a connection with the interviewer or the team. This is your chance to shine. You still want to do it within parameters. You still want to do it with some guidelines so that you make sure you get everything in that you want to get in. You want to make the most of this opportunity, and the way to make the most of this opportunity is to prepare. Be yourself. I think interviews can be really fun. They can be really uplifting when people bring themselves authentically to the table. But I also really think that preparation is the absolute critical thing to a great interview. And so there are lots and lots of ways you can prepare for a job interview. And I think it is especially important if you have not interviewed in a long time, because the way you construct your answers, and I'm not meaning to say be formulaic about it, but the way that you answer things and keep to the reason why they're asking you the question in the first place is really, really important. So do some preparation and make the most of your interview time. Number 6 is to make sure that your online profile is up to date and relevant. And by online profile, I'm mainly talking about LinkedIn. If you are anybody who is searching for a job in 2021, you need a LinkedIn profile. It needs to be up to date. You need to have a really good picture. You need to have, it's basically an expanded version of your resume. You can put a lot more in your LinkedIn profile than you can fit into your actual resume. So it's an opportunity here. And there are lots and lots and lots of podcasts and videos and things out there. I've got some. I did one recently on LinkedIn with a guest just a couple of episodes ago. So pay attention to LinkedIn. Make sure you have one. Make sure it's up to date, and make sure you are using the latest LinkedIn opportunity, the information and the tricks of the trade kind of thing on LinkedIn. Again, you can look these up. You'll find them, all sorts of information on the internet, but make sure you have it. Look at your other social media profiles as well. So if you are on Facebook, or you're on Twitter, or you're on Instagram, take a look at those and try and look at them with an outsider's eye to see if you like what you see. And if not, maybe you need to add some things or edit some things, because honest to goodness, they will look. Your potential employer is going to look to see what kinds of social media that you are on, which will tell them something about, how up to date you are with technology, and what the content is. So if you tend to rant all the time on Facebook about things that make you mad, you might want to go in and clean that up a little bit. Just if you're trying to make a good impression for whoever it is you're applying for a job with. So honestly, it is something to pay attention to. Look at your social media, look at your LinkedIn, make sure you have a LinkedIn, and make sure it's all up to date. Number 7 is show them you're tech savvy. In 2021, you need to be tech savvy to an extent. Don't fake it. These are some of the things you could learn if you haven't learned certain tech things that maybe you would like to. You can add those to the skills that you wanted to add in, which was number 2 in this list. But find out what kinds of tech you might need to be using, if you can, in this role by doing your industry research and learning a little bit about it. Maybe there are some things that you can't learn until you get there, technology-wise. But if there are some things that you need to know how to do in advance, like make Excel spreadsheets or use Google Docs or something, then those are things that you can learn on your own at home, informally, and practice. Put a bunch of stuff at home into an Excel spreadsheet just for fun, and play around with it and see how it works, and take a class online on how to do it. Because if that is something that is needed, and maybe it's PowerPoint, I don't know, but whatever it happens to be, if it's something that you need to know how to do for presentation purposes or the job that you're applying for, you might want to practice, and so that you can quite honestly say, yes, I know how to use those documents. I know how to use spreadsheets. I know how to make a presentation. So those are things that you can actively figure out, and then show them that you are tech savvy. And you can show them you're tech savvy in the way you're communicating with them when you're setting up the interview in the first place. Maybe they'll text you. I don't know. Maybe you'll text them. Depends. Now, number 8 is focus on companies who seem to hire people who are in your age range. And this will come up again in your industry research that you need to do before the interview. There is a series of interview prep videos on the Careers by Jenn YouTube channel that talk about what to do before the interview, what to do during it, and what to do after the interview. And in the before video, I talk about doing your industry research on the job that you are seeking. And in this research, and you can do it in multiple ways, and I talk about it in that video, find out who works at the company and see if you can tell their ages approximately. You might find that information in a newsletter, in a annual report. You might see it on LinkedIn. If the company has a profile on LinkedIn, they're on their website. There are lots of places that you can look to sort of get a sense of if there's a range of ages or not. If everybody on the website and in all the documentation looks like they are 30, maybe you don't want to try. But if there's a range, then fantastic. Go for it, because you just never know. And the ninth thing is to be persistent and patient. It might take a while for the right thing to come along. And as long as you aren't desperately in need of work yesterday, if that's the case, then patience and persistence will only take you so far when you've got to put food on the table. I get it. But if you are not desperately in need of something right now, then take your time. Keep networking and upgrading your skills and looking for opportunities, because I firmly believe that the right opportunity will present itself if you are open and paying attention and then doing all of these active things in the meanwhile. So those are one of the things that you might want to do is join some job search forums. I know that there are some that are actively posting in different cities, in different areas. Job boards are posting for jobs, and there are lots and lots of things that show up there first before they show up on some of the other platforms. So take a look, get yourself into some of these Facebook and LinkedIn job forum boards, and you may find something that's perfect for you. I also have in the description of the videos on the YouTube channel, I have links to flexjobs.com. And flexjobs.com is a place where you can find jobs that are flexible in nature. Some of them are flexible in that they are remote working jobs. Some of them are flexible in the hours that they allow. Some of them are flexible in how many days you're in an office and how many days you're at home. And FlexJobs is throughout North America anyway, I think. So, and there's a discount code to join FlexJobs down in the description box of any of the YouTube videos, the actual videos. So go to YouTube, Careers by Jenn channel. Excuse me, I've got something in my throat. And then you can look there, because that is a place, it is like a job board, and you can sign up with a membership for a short while. So there's a 30%, I think, discount code on my site for that. And there are lots of jobs that are posted there that you can take a look at. I hope these 9 tips were helpful. It's allergy season and I'm so stuffed up. I'm sorry. If you need more help, if you need some one-to-one coaching, or you need a longer online course on interview skills, especially if you haven't been in an interview in a long time, come over and see me at the website, CareersbyJenn.com. I have coaching packages, resume courses, interview courses, and then some coaching spaces and stuff there. So under resources and under online courses, you'll find the stuff at CareersbyJenn.com. Only 3 more episodes to go, my friend. Thank you for staying until the end. And until next week, thanks for listening and take good care.
You've been listening to Careers by Jenn with Jenn Swanson. If you like what you heard, please share this. You know, if every single person listening today shared this episode with just one friend, our audience would be twice as big just like that. And the more people we can help with our content, the better. So help out a friend and help grow our audience by sharing this show with someone you know who would benefit from the content. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that, and together we can make a difference. Until next time, take good care.